2, 1, go.
But yeah, guys, I do have a third replay. But go on, sorry. That's kind of where we start.
Yeah, it was sent to us spoiler-proof, so we don't know. Chef is just trolling, so don't take him too seriously. It's funny, because Chef is so good-mannered, when he's trying to trolling, he still kind of comes off as good-mannered. What do you think of a good-mannered show match against you and MoMA? Like, to find out once and for all who's better-mannered.
I've already had my chill off with Tyler. He's the most chill.
I'm throwing that out there because MoMA has literally messaged me when it's 4 a.m. his time while we're streaming. Can I play? Like not even on the schedule. Like he just wants to get in on the schedule because he wants to play on the stream.
So cool. I love how he plays on the North America server just like all the time, even though it's so much easier just to play on the Europe server for him. It's pretty cool. So
we are here in game number 2. We're going to stop talking about completely random stuff. We've got IdrA versus White from the Gigabyte StarsWar number 6. This is Railcoon with FXO Chef along board. Thank you for tuning into iCCup Television. We've got IdrA as the green Zerg in the bottom right-hand corner of Tal'Darim Altar, and White is going to be the red Protoss in the top right. Chef actually had problems loading this replay, and I figured out why. This is actually very important. This is the very old version of Tal'Darim Altar with a half mineral base as the third. There's no rocks. You can take this immediately, but it does run out twice as fast. So I don't know when the players are going to realize this, but when they see that, that's actually going to change the way that they play on this map quite considerably.
Interestingly, oh, never mind, yeah. It is actually just a very interesting point. Like, there's only 6 minerals and they're half, so it's just... Actually, there's 7 mineral patches. I can count.
Let's control click it. Yeah, that's 7.
Yeah. Well, we're good at counting here, guys. For those of you who are actually interested in StarCraft, Duckload White is throwing down his Nexus. IdrA's actually going for this very early spawning pool, not that early, and then going into a very early hatch though. White kind of fell for it, didn't see the drone that was waiting there to do that hatchery, and because of that, IdrA will have just a nice build order here. But White has thrown down this Nexus first, which is going to put him in a very nice economic situation as well.
Yeah, I mean, IdrA went for that 14-16, the spawning pool on 14, following up with the 16 hatchery, but it's not very often you actually get to do that, because usually then the probe blocks the 16 hatchery. You have to wait till around the 20 supply marker when you have some Zerglings to kill that pylon, and White coming over to try and pylon the hatchery finds there's already one there. Oops. And now going to have to back off. You can see his wall off is almost complete. He's got a first cannon on the way, so he should be pretty safe against any early pressure from IdrA, unless he just suddenly decides he's going to Baneling bust. Because he has been doing that. He's been going for random all-ins in his play because, you know, it just makes him more unpredictable. And when a player has that level of unpredictability, it's just a little bit more difficult to play against them. You have to second-guess what they're going to do. You have to play a little bit safer. And I'd be curious to see if IdrA actually goes for that to consolidate this reputation he's been trying to build of the fact that he will just randomly all-in you.
Probably the best all-in that he could have done would have been to have canceled the hatchery and had a roach horn and just made 7 roaches right around now. However, that's not happening. So we're gonna have to see if he has another rush. It's a very good rush as well, timed. But I'm not really sure. He is still mining gas with 1 drone, so it could be a number of things. And White did manage to get a probe past these 2 lings, so he will get the scouting information that he needs. IdrA isn't making any more Zerglings, she's making a whole bunch of drones and transferring that queen over. I wouldn't be surprised to see IdrA take his 3rd base as well very soon. And White needs to find a way as well to kill this drone. There'll be a zealot chasing it, I'm sure, soon. And now we just have to see this probe is checking for the 3rd and now just going in to see what he can see.
Yeah, so it looks like IdrA is not actually opting to do anything aggressive. And look at this, White trying to block the 3rd base and missing again. So IdrA getting both of his natural and his 3rd base hatcheries up completely uncontested by White.
That's a pretty big deal, guys.
Yeah, that's actually a really big deal. So, the fact that he's not going for the just random all-in against a vulnerable build from White and then getting his 3rd base up undelayed, unharassed, that's going to help him out quite a bit. And
yep. White is actually a little supply blocked as well, kind of a big deal as well. And that all kind of happens when you start to make little mistakes. Like, oh, I missed this hatchery, I'm kind of worried about that, and you're thinking about it. And you're thinking about it like, oh, I missed the pylon while you're thinking about it. It's funny how those little things can absolutely completely ruin your game when all it was initially just this tiny little mess up. And wow, it's a very interesting build that we're seeing here from White Raw.
Yeah, he's got the double Stargate, and since we're on this version of the map, it doesn't have the destructible rocks. Void Rays are a little bit tougher to pull off. Could see double Stargate Phoenix and then switch into Colossus. That's a pretty standard build to use from this, because it lets you get so many Phoenixes so quickly. You're able to harass really well. And if your opponent tries to counter that with Hydralisks, if they think you only have one Stargate, well then you can lift off the Hydras and do a bunch of damage. But we do see a Void Ray coming first. Still doesn't mean we won't see Phoenixes, but he does actually start a second Void Ray, so looks like we're going to see straight Void Ray from White Raw. And
yep. This is what IdrA is actually bringing in an Overlord as well to see this, and is getting at least some vision of it. I think he sees at least one of those Stargates. I guess I can check about that.
He saw the back Stargate with the Overlord, and the other Stargate is in a position where it might get seen if he sends some Zerglings to check the wall. So seeing that back Stargate's a little bit more important, because I assume he will see the front one with some Zerglings here eventually. And knowing that it's two Stargates as opposed to one makes a very, very big difference. White Raw is actually going for the air upgrades as well, so he's really committing to these Void Rays, and he does have a Phoenix on the way, so that's good. You don't want to overcommit to the Void Rays with this sort of a build. If you make too many, well then the Hydras just sort of kill them. If you get a good number of Phoenixes to back them up, then you can take out the Hydralisks rather effectively. And the main thing is, if you overcommit to the Void Rays and then don't transition out of it soon enough, then your Void Rays die, and then you're like, well, now what? So he's doing a good job of executing this build so far.
White Raw is getting the phase up on the lovely.
Oh my god, that is a lot of queens.
Yep, that's 4 queens killing those Void Rays. One false. It's actually a huge deal. Again, really, really bad there for White Raw. He needed to just have pulled back there. No reason to engage there, especially against 4 queens and a Spore Crawler.
Yeah, one thing to note, since I did just see somebody asking about it in chat, this is from the previous replay, so we don't see any of the new features in play at the moment. He's going to lift off previous patch, excuse me. And he's going to be able to get one of these queens with the Graviton lift and the charged Void Rays. You can see that he actually doesn't have anything else in production at his Stargates at the moment. His plus on weapons is going to finish, but like you said, losing that first Void Ray is going to hurt this strategy quite a bit. Second one goes down. White Raw not microing that as effectively as he needs to, and we've seen just a series of really small mistakes piling up into bigger mistakes for White Raw here.
White Raw also has 1,200 minerals and 500 gas. That's actually very, very uncharacteristic of White Raw. This whole build feels like he kind of threw it together and really wanted to kill IdrA with these Void Rays, and now he's like, well, I really don't know what to do. White Raw now throwing down more buildings, getting the robotics facility for that, or the robotics bay, excuse me, for the robotics facility, and even throwing down a second facility, as well as his third base. But this build feels a little bit, not really risky from White Raw, but just unprepared completely.
Yeah, and if you look at IdrA, he's actually just about to finish the dropship upgrade, and he's got a lot of Hydralisks. And since that airplay didn't do as much damage as he wanted, it didn't delay IdrA as much as he wanted. So these Hydras are going to have a very big opportunity to do a lot of damage if he goes for that drop play that we've seen quite a bit from other Zerg players. So this is looking really, really good for IdrA right now.
Yep, definitely. Considering there's also no third replay, we kind of have... I'm just kidding.
Stop trolling!
But yeah, IdrA has these Hydras. He has a nice little creep spread. He has 2 dropships with Roaches going one direction. White Raw still has this nice Void Ray and Colossus combination coming and starting up right now. And if you learn anything from past IdrA games, he actually has a lot of problems with this. Actually, look at that dropship. It's all of the unit. That's what he needs to do. I feel that's a very, very strong counter to this. So I don't know if White Raw can hold that off. He's going to have the Colossus, but they're going to be a little bit late, and this is the perfect timing for IdrA.
Oh, he's actually going to be able to get the robotics bay with these Roaches, and now all the other Overlords are flying into the natural with the rest of the units. Robotics bay is going to go down. No range upgrade for White Raw. He's only got the 2 more that are in production as well, and here comes the brunt of IdrA's army dropping down behind the mineral line. He's trying desperately to hold this off, but these Hydralisks are going to do a bunch of damage to the air units. These Phoenixes really need to lift off the Hydras instead of shooting the Overlords. White Raw, I feel like, just keeps mismicroing these battles, and completely ignoring those Hydralisks is a really big deal.
Definitely. This is looking very good for IdrA. He took his 4th base. Imagine he's getting no more tech, but he's getting nice upgrades as well as a Spire. So this is, and another dropship as well. It's not looking good there for White Raw.
Yeah, these roaches in the main still doing a good amount of damage, actually taking this Nexus down very low health. I don't think he's going to finish it, but that's going to make White Raw have to be very careful with his Nexus sitting at 240 health, and he knows that IdrA has the drop upgrade. He's got to make sure that IdrA can't sneak in with a couple of units just to finish that off, but here comes a follow-up drop in the natural. A lot of Hydralisks and roaches. Once again, these Phoenixes just aren't doing anything. They're just AFK chasing around the Overlords. He's going to lose a lot of Hydralisks to these Colossus, but he's shut down the economy of White Raw almost completely with these drops.
Yep, and that's really big. White Raw, if you look at the units count, he only has 32 probes. It's IdrA 71. Realistically, that's not that big of a deal for Zerg. Like, if Zerg loses all their economy, well, I have 4 hatcheries. I can make them really quickly. However, for other races, Protoss, for instance, they don't have mules. No, their only way of getting economy is chrono boosting their Nexus. And they don't want to be doing that. They want to be chrono boosting more Void Rays, more Colossus. Those really hard to get units is what they want.
Look at the Control R tab. Workers killed for IdrA. That is, wow. 46 probes killed by IdrA, and 1 drone killed by White Raw. That shows how effective those drops were. Even though they all died, and he didn't really get the army of White Raw, he did a ridiculous amount of economic damage. Yeah. So he's sitting in a really good position right now.
Yep, I mean, that's pretty much all it is. White Raw took way too much damage from that. IdRA's being allowed to mass up more Corruptors, more other units, which are going to be a very solid thing to have against these Void Rays. And it's what you need. You need to get Corruptors to deal with Void Ray Colossus. And the fact that White Raw, even though he took this early third, didn't have the units to saturate, like he's not even getting gas at his natural all the way. He only has 1 on one of those simulators. That's not what you want to have by any means.
Yeah, and IdrA's now pushing across the map with some of his roaches and these Corruptors. Looks like he's going to try and take out this third base. And it's a huge number of Corruptors. He should be able to just blast any Colossus that are in the area. These roaches are going to have some issues with that Stalker and Immortal count, but he's going to run straight into the mineral line and try and take out some probes once again. And actually turning to try and take out the army. There goes both Colossus, and then just immediately flying away. At this point, IdrA could even just go straight into Hive Tech and turn a lot of those Corruptors into Broodlords, and White Raw just literally wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
Yep, very true. At this point, there's not that much that you can see White Raw that White Raw can do. He doesn't have the economy, he doesn't have the probes. He does have 51. It's like you see how he did catch up there with Chrono Boost and with these 3 Nexi, but he's just now actually getting the extended thermal lance, which would have helped the micro a lot as well. But he doesn't have any Colossus. He lost them all. He's not making any more. I'd rather see him just cancel the upgrade and make more Colossus, just to hold off a bit. But at this point, it's just 100. Oh, look at these dropships.
It's not going to do a lot of damage, but he might be able to take out the Immortals. As he did corrupt them, it does allow the Hardened Shields to take a little bit extra damage, and there they go. That doesn't look like a very good trade for IdrA, but consider how far ahead he is right now. He can afford to trade inexpensive units like Roaches and a few Hydras for the expensive units that White Raw has, because he can't afford to reproduce them. But you can see it took him this long just to start even 1 Colossus. He's not really going to be able to afford reproducing the Colossus and the Immortals. So IdrA's just continually attacking with these small forces. He's taking out units because he can rebuild it just fine, but White Raw can't. If you look at the supply, he's up 90 food anyway. So why not? Here comes another drop, corrupting basically every single Stalker here, and that should help him take out almost this entire army for White Raw.
Hydras are pretty good. They have nice upgrades. Stalkers don't have amazing upgrades, and there are no Colossus to deal with this out yet. Oof.
Yeah, there's a GG from White Raw. IdrA played really, really well that game. It's one of those things where if you're not paying close enough attention to the worker count, it might have looked like those first couple attacks by IdrA didn't go very well. But since he took out that many workers, he just got ridiculously far ahead. He got up to 5 bases. He took out the robotics bay from White Raw, which helped him a lot at the same time. He just got really far ahead, and then he just followed the Artosis school of thought. I'm just going to get farther ahead. And then once I'm continually 200 supply, I'm just going to attack, 200 supply, attack, and just repeat until you're dead.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. I mean, you know, you could go on and be like, well, IdrA had a bunch of corruptors. Well, you probably didn't need to make that many, but it's okay.
And now we're trolling about the fact that there's no third game and there isn't.
I know. People will really now think, Sheth spoiled this. I didn't want to be spoiled, Sheth. Sorry, guys.
He was joking, guys. He didn't actually look. So thanks everybody for tuning into StarsWar. I don't know. Next week we'll be doing the round of 8 coverage. I don't know who will be casting that just yet, but should be Monday and Tuesday. Make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be quite spectacular. Make sure you check out Sheth, fxosheth.com, twitter.com/fxosheth. Thanks for coming on and casting with me. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. It was great. And you know, just thank you very much for letting me go on here. Appreciate it, Pat. iCCupTV for letting me be here. It was really just a great time to co-cast with you, Alan, and talk about all these wonderful games and hang out with other people. We really like to watch good games.
Also, shout out to IdrA. He actually tweeted about this when we asked him to. Twitter.com/IdrJit. IdrA, and then JIT at the end. So we're going to have more StarsWar for you guys next week. I don't know what else we're doing in the meantime. Or we've been having some stream issues and some staffing issues, so our schedule's a little bit lighter than usual. So stay tuned. If we're doing anything between, we'll post it up on Reddit or Team Liquid.
And make sure you guys follow iCCupTV, this channel right here. You know, if you see it, just click follow here. You'll get a nice email when we do go live. So you can see all these lovely games. You know, you're welcome to watch any of these games we have that we post below as well. But, you know, check it out, guys. Check it out.
We did actually just move over to Justin TV about 2 weeks ago from our Ustream channel. So if you were following us there, you were going to have to do that over again. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next week. And thanks again, Sheth, for coming along.
No problems, man. Had a good time.